Good morning, YouTube! You're listening to a special Wednesday edition of Biggie Sports. And this is your host, Eric, the Biggie Green. Now, before we get started, I'd like to remind people that my good friend Ryan Pearson is doing a Facebook video called A Moment with Ryan. So be sure to comment on his page, and if you have any prayer requests, we'll be praying for you at this time. Last night in sports, the college football playoff rankings was released. Let's take a look at the top 12 teams. Number 1 was the Oregon Ducks. Number 2 was the Ohio State Buckeyes. Number 3 was the Georgia Bulldogs. Number 4 was the Miami Hurricanes. Number 5 was the Texas Longhorns. Number 6 was the Penn State Nittany Lions. Number 7 was the Tennessee Volunteers. Number 8 was the Indiana Hoosiers. Number 9 was the BYU Cougars. Number 10 was the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Number 11 was the Alabama Crimson Tide. And number 12 was the Boise State Broncos. So what does that mean for the playoffs? Well, let's take a look. Right now, it'd be Boise State taking on 5th-ranked Ohio State. The winner of that game would play BYU. Indiana would play Tennessee. The winner of that game would play Oregon. Alabama would play Texas. The winner of that game would play Miami. And finally, Notre Dame would play Penn State. The winner of that game would play Georgia. So that would be an unbelievable games if the playoff brackets was going on if the season was over. Now, last night in college football, Bowling Green was winner over Central Michigan, 23-13, and finally, Miami of Ohio over Ball State, 27-21. Now, what's going on today in football? Well, it's Ohio taking on Kent State, and finally, Northern Illinois is taking on Western Michigan. What's your score prediction for the games? Well, you can comment on my YouTube page. Now, there was no basketball games in the pros last night. There was a bunch of college basketball games. We got several basketball games going on in the NBA today. Let's take a look at what we got here. We have the Detroit Pistons taking on the Charlotte Hornets. We have the Orlando Magic taking on the Indiana Pacers. The New York Knicks are taking on the Atlanta Hawks. The Golden State Warriors are taking on the Boston Celtics at the TD Garden. The San Antonio Spurs are taking on the Houston Rockets. The LA Lakers are taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Cleveland Cavaliers are taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. The Chicago Bulls are taking on the Dallas Mavericks. The Oklahoma City Thunder is taking on the Denver Nuggets. The Minnesota Timberwolves is taking on the Phoenix Suns. The Philadelphia 76ers are taking on the LA Clippers. And finally, the Toronto Raptors are taking on the Sacramento Kings. Those are the games that are going on today. So what's your score prediction? Well, you can comment as well. That is going to do it for me today. I hope everyone has a blessed day. God bless.